The Strato E from Kaleidescape. For a diehard physical media fan like myself, would it mean I'd be
turning to the dark side
if I embrace this digital media player? Would I be selling my soul for convenience? Let's get into it. Hello and welcome, my friends. I am Elon Osborne, physical media collector, home theater enthusiast, and your friendly neighborhood lover of all things cinema. So when you saw that I happened to be reviewing anything from the likes of Kaleidescape, did you think to yourself, oh no, they got him too? The short answer is no. That's not the case at all. And the long answer is, with Kaleidescape claiming that they have successfully married the idea of convenience with reference quality video and sound, rivaling the quality previously found only on 4K Blu-ray discs, do you really think that wouldn't at least pique my interest? For those of you who have never heard of Kaleidescape before, here's a quick summary. The Kaleidescape Media Player is a premium home theater system designed for cinephiles who demand the highest possible audio and video quality. It allows users to purchase and download full-resolution 4K UHD movies with the lossless Dolby True HD or DTS HD master audio soundtracks, including Dolby Atmos and DTS:X, directly to a local server for instant playback. Unlike streaming services, Kaleidescape delivers bit-for-bit fidelity comparable to or exceeding 4K Blu-ray discs, ensuring a true reference quality experience. Its elegant interface, seamless integration with high-end AV gear, and curated movie store make it a top choice for luxury home cinema installations. Now, when I say exceeding the quality of 4K Blu-ray discs, it's because there still is a little bit of compression to fit all that data onto a disc. Not much, but some. But that's not the case with Kaleidescape. These mezzanine files are encrypted and licensed through agreements with major film studios, making them a legitimate, protected way to access the film in full reference quality. Now, those words luxury cinema installations might make you think,
oh, so it's only for rich people with insanely expensive dedicated home theater rooms? That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
That may have been true for many years, but more recently, Kaleidescape has come out with offerings that still aren't exactly as low as most 4K Blu-ray players on the market today, but much more attainable than they were previously. So here's a quick recap of the three models that have blown open the doors for Kaleidescape, allowing even your average home theater buff to consider their products now. And those are the Strato M, Strato E, and Strato V media players. Why? Because they are the first Kaleidescape players to include built-in solid-state drives. Previously, you would have to buy a media player like the Strato C, for example, and then get a Tera movie server with it to actually store the movies for playback. And it was the servers especially that made it expensive. So what are the similarities of the Strato M, E, and V? They all support HDR10 and Dolby Vision, as well as lossless audio, including Dolby Atmos and DTS:X. And they can all still work with the Tera servers, despite having their own built-in SSDs. In fact, for a while there, Kaleidescape was mainly targeted at those with dedicated home theaters with a really nice projector and projector screen. If you weren't aware, for the longest time, projectors did not support Dolby Vision. Hence the reason Kaleidescape didn't feel a need to either. But when they decided to go more broad and include even home theater enthusiasts who have large TVs, supporting Dolby Vision only made sense. So what are the differences between Strato M, E, and V? The entry-level Strato M only outputs up to 1080p video signals, or as they put it, reference quality 2K video. Because remember, 1080p Blu-ray discs do not support any HDR formats. That is reserved only for 4K Blu-ray discs. And yet, 2K Kaleidescape files do support HDR formats like HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and the highest bitrate audio possible, including Atmos and DTS:X, right? So I would call Kaleidescape's 2K reference more like Blu-ray Plus, if that were such a thing. It has an internal SSD with a storage capacity of 480 gigabytes. Oh, and it also comes in this perforated steel case, like the Strato E you see here. And speaking of the Strato E, it's basically the same as the Strato M, but it can output up to 4K video signals HDR, immersive audio, etc. It also has the same 480 gigabyte hard drive, so that equates to roughly 5-ish movies you can store on either the Strato M or the E. The flagship Strato V also supports 4K UHD video output and has a 1 terabyte SSD inside, which equates to roughly 10 movies that can be stored on it at once. That, and there are some physical differences between the Strato E and V, which I will get to soon. So with that, let's get into a quick unboxing, some housekeeping, and the setup process. Honestly, initially I thought I wasn't going to show the unboxing portion, but I actually do want to show you something. First of all, this is a pretty nifty little way to protect and package the Kaleidescape itself. Literature. There's also an app, which I will be downloading. This is what I wanted to show you. There's an additional box. It comes with all these goodies. You've got a remote, comes with batteries, nice. Power cord, more power cord. So this is the power cord that plugs into this, just a AC-DC converter. So this plugs into the wall and this plugs into the Kaleidescape itself. And then we've got some interconnects. This is a very robust looking Cat 6A cable, nice. It's actually fairly long too. It says right here it's 10 foot. Nice, that's longer than most. But this is the one thing I wanted to show you. It's not just any old HDMI interconnect. It is the THX ultra high speed HDMI cable. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be like a cheapo HDMI cable, but the fact that they have a partnership with THX for the interconnects, that's cool. So yeah, just thought I'd show you that before moving on. Okay, as I put these batteries in the provided remote control, I do want to point out something. I'm a little disappointed in the quality of the remote. I mean, I know it's just a remote. You can also do things through the app on your phone if you want to. But for how much a Kaleidescape costs, this is pretty cheap feeling. Again, I know not everybody is going to want to use an actual physical remote these days. Whatever. I wish there was a little bit more heft to it. Makes me think it's probably not going to last too long. But I could be wrong. Maybe it lasts 10 years and, you know, I got to eat my words. But just wanted to point that out. I don't know, maybe it's just the Strato E and the Strato M. Maybe the Strato V and more expensive versions have more robust remotes. I don't know. I just want to be as candid and transparent as possible during this review. Sorry, Kaleidescape, I think your remote is really cheap. Okay, another thing I want to point out, it seems like the amount of money they saved with the cheap remote, they put into the power cord. Because I do like it how it actually comes apart. But this part of it here that plugs into the wall outlet, it is very robust. You've got gold plated plugs here, which is actually a very nice touch. But yeah, this is nice and hefty. I guess they saved some money with the remote, but they put it elsewhere because the power cord, the fact that it comes with a THX HDMI interconnect, and the Ethernet cable is especially robust as well. So, okay. At least they made up for it elsewhere after handling that really light remote. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this THX interconnect HDMI cable is awesome. The fact that it's braided, it is pretty flexible. It's got these real nice protectors on it when you first get it. This is the real deal. Just saying. Okay, I got the Kaleidescape here and all of the various interconnects, power cables, etc. I am going to put the Kaleidescape here and I'm gonna connect it directly to the Sony AZ3000ES right here via HDMI, and the internet router is also here, so then I can just plug it directly into that via Ethernet. I could technically connect it via HDMI to this One Connect box with my Samsung Frame TV, but then I'm dealing with eARC and it's fine, but I just wanted to plug it directly into the AVR. Whatever. It is what it is. All right, a couple housekeeping things I want to take care of right off the bat. I originally wanted to do this, obviously, you know, set up the system, create an account at the office theater, because that's obviously where my huge surround sound system is. But at my office, there is no Ethernet connections available. There are Ethernet ports on various walls, but they just don't have any internet actually going to them. I have requested from my landlord to, I don't know, make that happen again so that I could get wired Ethernet instead of just relying on Wi-Fi to get my internet at the office. But every time I say that, it's like deer in headlights. They don't know what I'm talking about. So in order to set up the account, because at first I thought I could set up the account through the Kaleidescape app on my phone, but then I got to a point where it just said, you gotta set it up on the unit itself. And then you can sign in to the app once you have created the account using this unit, through the on-screen display and going through the various menus, which I will show you in a bit. So yeah, just wanted to let you know, that's housekeeping thing number one, is that this does not support Wi-Fi. It only supports gigabit Ethernet connections, which makes sense because you are going to be downloading files which, I don't know, like take Avatar: The Way of Water. I think that one's around like 100 gigabytes or something. So downloading that over Wi-Fi is going to take forever. So just to simplify things, I can see why they only support gigabit Ethernet connections and not Wi-Fi. So that's why I need to set up this whole situation at home, because I can actually access the internet via an Ethernet connection. And the second thing I wanted to point out is that you can see here that it is very minimal as far as the connections on the back. You've got your Ethernet, you've got your HDMI, you've got USB, which, by the way, does not support, like say if you've ripped a lot of movies onto a hard drive, that is not what this USB port is for. This USB port is pretty much strictly just to allow you to do the disc to digital upgrade program. So you can plug in a DVD or Blu-ray burner, you pop in a Blu-ray, it reads it, and then it will catalog it so that you can then upgrade it to the 4K version or whatever. So honestly, I might have that later on in this video, but at the same time, I might save going over how to do the disc to digital upgrade program in a separate video. And obviously you've got your power cable input right here. But the other thing I wanted to point out is that what's missing from the Strato E compared to the Strato V, for example, are digital audio outputs. Yes, you've got your HDMI 2.1 output, but the Strato V also has Toslink and digital coax outputs as well. So just wanted to point that out just in case maybe you need those digital outputs for whatever reason. I personally don't. I just do everything through HDMI. So just wanted to make that distinction between the Strato E and the Strato V. Alrighty, everything is plugged in. As you can see, we've got the Kaleidescape screensaver going on right now. The player is connected to Ethernet and has obtained an address automatically. Hooray! Continue. To continue setup of your player, scan the QR code below to open the Kaleidescape mobile app and then follow the instructions in the app. Aha, okay. So it's more like a hybrid. Okay, so that's why it didn't allow me to set up the account directly in the app, because it's got to work with the player. Look at this. This automatically popped up. System activation. There is a Kaleidescape system on your network that requires activation. The system contains these components. Strato E movie player. You will create a Kaleidescape account as part of activation if you don't have one already. Please enter your email address to begin, or if you already have an account already, tap the button below. Cool! That was easy. Begin activation. Now it says, check your email. An email has been sent to elanosborne@gmail.com. Please tap the link included in that email to continue activation of your Kaleidescape system. You got it! And yeah, it's just a simple Activate Now button in the email. Cool. Congratulations on your purchase of a Kaleidescape system. We are pleased to have you as a customer and hope you will enjoy your system for years to come. To complete the activation of your system, we need to create your Kaleidescape account. This will only take a few minutes. And first name, last name, address, city, state, zip code. The fun stuff. Yeah, I want to choose my own password, thank you very much. Please give your system a descriptive name. Activation successful! Congratulations, your system has been activated. You can save your password with Face ID to make purchasing easy. I think I will. Okay, and yes, it does ask for some credit card information for the next step. which obviously makes sense because if you have a Kaleidescape, you're going to be wanting to purchase and download titles. Alrighty, credit card information has been input. It is activated and it's ready to go. I'll just click on Finish here. Finish. You now have access to thousands of movies, TV series, and concerts for purchase or rental from the Kaleidescape movie store on the web at store.kaleidescape.com. You can also access the movie store through the Kaleidescape mobile app. Ready to play. Movie store settings. Let's take a look at some of these settings, huh? Available storage room for approximately 6 4K movies. Hooray! Downloads. No movies are being downloaded. That's correct. Screensaver timeout 5 minutes. Preferred movie language. Oh yeah, use the movies default. Duh. In case you're watching a foreign film, like a cool Korean film or Japanese anime or something. Heck yeah, I want to see it in the movie's default language. This player is activated to elanosborne@gmail.com. Press OK to launch the video setup and calibration storefront. From this storefront, you can download test patterns and calibration videos, which will be used to optimize your system's viewing experience. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's cool for later, I guess. Settings for audio, video, control systems, and linking of components are available on the components page of your system's browser interface. Oh. All right, pretty nice. They give you the IP address to access that on your web browser. There is nothing ready to play because I have nothing downloaded yet. Wow, Freakier Friday is already available. New releases, movies by genre, television by genre. Ooh, pre-order. Yeah, one battle after another, and then it'll show up immediately in your library once it is officially downloadable. All right, one thing I wanted to show you about the Kaleidescape app is that the bottom center, there is a remote. So as you can see, well, trying not to get all the reflections and stuff, this is a touchpad. So I can use this to move. And in fact, because I actually had my meeting with the Kaleidescape people earlier today, and one of the things they said is that this is more responsive because you don't have to aim it at the Kaleidescape box. It just does it over Bluetooth. So that way, yeah, you can just navigate through the menus much more easily. And like say if I wanted to search for something, I could just tap on the search right here. And instead of doing it letter by letter with the remote control, I can just type it in the app. In fact, Kaleidescape did give me a few credits so that I can download a few movies just to check it out, try it out, test it out, especially some demo scenes that I typically go to. So that is honestly what I'm going to be downloading as my 5 or 6 4K movies, depending on how big the files are. One of them is going to be Ready Player One. And yeah, so I'm just going to type in Ready Player One on my phone. Ready Player One. And boom. Ready Player One. It's the only one there, which is good. I don't think there are any other movies called Ready Player One. Boom. I do appreciate the fact that it tells you all that it's compatible with. It's in 4K. You can also get the SDR version if you wanted. It supports HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and the soundtrack is in Dolby Atmos. And another thing, you can purchase it for $24.99, but you can also rent it for $7.95. And as far as renting is concerned, they did answer that question for me. It is like most other rental agreements or just how a lot of other digital streamers work nowadays. If you rent something, it will be in your library for 30 days. But as soon as you begin to watch it for the first time, from that point on, you have 48 hours to watch it as many times as you want. And then after that 48 hours, it's gone. But if you rent something and you decide to purchase it later, because you've already rented it, the whole $8 isn't going towards the purchase fee, but half of it is, so $4. So you rent it for $7.95. You know what? This is a really cool movie. I want to own it. So instead of being $24.95, it's now going to be $19.95. I don't know, pretty cool little incentive to purchase something, but I like the fact that you can kind of test it out first instead of buying something and then having buyer's remorse and being like, oh, that movie actually sucked. So I do enjoy how they have these little incentives in place. Okay, so yeah, I would like to purchase this. To purchase movies on your player, you must first create an on-screen purchase passcode. Please visit store.kaleidescape.com/account to get started, which I have not done yet. So I'm gonna go do that and I'll be back in a flash. I've waited a few minutes like it asked. I've set up this 4-digit PIN, so hopefully it works now. Purchase. Hey, here we go. Please enter your passcode to complete the purchase. $24.99 will be charged to your credit card on file, except that I already have credits on my account, so those will go into effect. And I just wanted to show you how easy this is through the on-screen display on the TV. Now, obviously, you could just go to kaleidescape.com and browse their movies online as well, purchase them that way, but I just wanted to show you both. Your purchase was successful and the download has been scheduled. Check kaleidescape.com/movie store/downloads to see the status of the download. Let's check that, shall we? All right, in my account, I'm going to go up to the top right under Manage, so I can manage my account and go to Downloads. Haha! Currently, I'm downloading at 162.9 megabits per second. Again, because I don't have gigabit Ethernet, since I live out in the boonies. I've got Starlink, and even though I'm connected via Ethernet, you know, every once in a while I might get, ooh, where it jumped up. Now it's 269.9 megabits per second. Hooray! Faster speeds! Now it only says there's 35 minutes left instead of an hour. Fantastic. And that's one of the other things is that like you can choose, you can see here that it does come with all the extras. Downloading the extras is waiting, and then there's also supplemental, and that's in SD. So maybe that's just an SD version, I don't know. But let's go ahead and click on this arrow here, and I'm going to remove that because I don't want it to download that. So I don't really need the extras to take up any more hard drive space. So I'm going to remove the extras as well. So now it's just the movie, and we're still clocking at 269.9 megabits per second. It's actually pretty good. I've seen it go all the way up to 300 megabits per second, but 269.9 that's actually pretty darn good for Starlink, to be honest. So I'm glad we're clipping at that speed right now. But who knows? It may go down, it may go up. But I do like the fact that it's showing me in real time. Oh, wow. And after refreshing, now it says my download speed is 383. Oh, back down to 225. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of fluctuating. I mean, it is a satellite after all, so sure, various reasons that my internet speed will be fluctuating quite a bit. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that I was able to show that to you because obviously I don't have gigabit Ethernet speeds, but even then, downloading at 200, 300 megabits per second, at the most it said a 4K movie was going to take about an hour to download. And honestly, in my head, before I even got the Kaleidescape, I was gonna think that it would take roughly an hour to download a movie. So especially with something like the Strato E that only has a 480 gigabyte hard drive internally, I mean, you're just gonna want to plan ahead if you want to purchase something and watch it, you know, later that night or something for family movie night, or even rent something. If you're like me and you don't have really fast internet, then yeah, it's just simple planning on your part. You know, give it an hour or two before you actually want to sit down and watch something. Or hell, if you're going to watch something on a Friday night, just download it that morning. I mean, just to be extra safe, because that's the whole idea behind having a hard drive that is this small, is that you kind of have this revolving door of titles that you can have built into the hard drive. So even though you may have tens or 20s or hundreds of titles purchased in your Kaleidescape library, yeah, to actually have them downloaded onto your player is just something you'll have to kind of coordinate and schedule and move things around. And it is definitely doable if you put your mind to it. A couple other things I wanted to mention when I had my meeting with Kaleidescape earlier today. One of the things I asked them is Kaleidescape capable of streaming at all? Like, are there servers ready to stream something to me in real time over the internet? And they said no. Kaleidescape is strictly a downloading platform. So as you saw with Ready Player One, I could download the movie itself, I could download the extras, and I could download an SD version for whatever reason. Because I brought this up in the conversation I had with Kaleidescape. It's like, 4K Dolby Atmos for the main feature film, that's great. Obviously, I'm going to want to download that, so then I don't have to worry about buffering or whatever. But for something like extras, which are typically just in HD and stereo, they're not even in 5.1 or anything. So something like that where the video is not as good quality and the audio is definitely not surround sound, could I then just stream the extras and then just download the movie itself? And they said, no, it is strictly downloadable. I was curious about that, so you might have been curious about that. I just wanted to let you know that that is the case. If you do want to watch the extras, then you'll have to make sure you have space on the hard drive. Again, do some planning ahead. And then if you watch those extras, delete them from the hard drive, and then you could download some other stuff. So again, it's just a constant revolving door. I want to watch this, download it. Watch it, erase it, download something else. Oh, and along with the movie, not only is the Dolby Atmos or full, true HD or the DTS HD Master Audio soundtrack downloaded with the movie, but all the different variants of the audio tracks are also downloaded with the movie. So like if there happen to be any dubbings, subtitles, and things like director's commentary, those are also downloaded with the main feature film, which is cool. Because for the longest time, director's commentary was just omitted. Like they just weren't doing it anymore. But I think they might be bringing it back. So long story short, you're not just getting the movie. You're basically getting what you would also get if you were to purchase the disc version. Extras, director's commentary, perhaps trailers are part of the extras too, whatever. Because me, I know I'm weird in that I actually do like to watch the behind the scenes stuff. So that's why I like to purchase things on disc. I mean, you could get some of the bonus features, like some of the titles that I own digitally on Fandango at home. They do come with some of the bonus features. Now that I mention that, I kind of do want to check this out. So let's show the TV and see if we can answer this question I have in my head. Okay, one thing I was curious about, Lord of the Rings. I own both the Blu-ray and the 4K editions of Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended and theatrical, whatever. But I will always hang on to the Blu-ray version because the Blu-ray version has what's called the appendices, the most in-depth behind-the-scenes documentary series I have ever witnessed. Peter Jackson went above and beyond. Amazing stories about what they did on certain scenes or just the actors goofing around and just showing how much they loved each other and got along so well. But also like in-depth breakdowns of the cinematography, incredibly detailed accounts of all the layers of sound design that they added, etc. So let's see. Let's just go with Fellowship of the Ring. Purchase movie and download all extras. Special features, Welcome to Middle Earth. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't have the appendices titles of all the different chapters memorized, but I think that's the same stuff. If I'm not mistaken. I don't know, let's check out Two Towers. So as you can see, purchase movie and download all extras. So it's not like the extras are a separate purchase, which is cool. Wow, yeah, appendices part 3. The journey continues. Look at all this stuff. So much behind the scenes. That's at Appendices Part 3, so I wonder if the extended edition of The Fellowship has more. Appendices Part 1. So it is a little bit disappointing to me that you do have to purchase the theatrical edition or the extended edition as two separate purchases. Because when I bought the Blu-ray set and the 4K set, it came with both the theatrical disc and the extended discs. So being a diehard Lord of the Rings fan like I am, I mean, like I said, I already own the trilogy on 4K, so it's not like I have to get it on Kaleidescape now. But I guess if I wanted to have it, on the go for whatever reason, maybe we're going on vacation and we just want to have the extended version of Lord of the Rings to watch at night or whatever, wherever we are. So in that case, I may opt to take my Blu-ray versions and do the disc to digital upgrade. So that way I don't have to pay full price for it. And that way I have it both on disc and in Kaleidescape if I want to take it on the go. Options, baby. I love options. As soon as you get to the store, which is what we're looking at currently, if you've got your featured titles, of course, the stuff that has just arrived. But that's one of the things that people complain about is not only is Kaleidescape expensive to purchase one of their units, but the titles themselves are expensive. But honestly, that's not really true. I mean, you saw that Ready Player One was $24.99. I think right now on 4K Blu-ray, it's like $20 or something. But come Black Friday, I've seen Ready Player One go all the way down to, $9.99. But as I was talking to Kaleidescape earlier today, they did say that they do have sales all the time, including Black Friday sales. So if you're like me, I don't just purchase 4K Blu-rays willy-nilly, when they're the most expensive that they'll ever be. I usually wait until there's a really good sale to get ones that I've been waiting for a long time. And it's the same with Kaleidescape. Just wait. You don't have to purchase everything right away just because it popped in your head. Like, I need to own this particular movie. I need to download it now. To each their own. You can definitely do that if you want, if it's in your budget. But yeah, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, it just very recently came out on physical media. And right now you can purchase it for $14.99. That's a really good price for a 4K Blu-ray. Jurassic World Rebirth, also $14.99. John Wick 4. Yeah, it looks like they're all $14.99. Gladiator. Boom. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Moana. And it's not just feature films too. You got a lot of documentaries. Reservoir Dogs is only $19.99 right now. Yeah, and you can see now that I have finally downloaded a movie, it's now in My Movies, right up top. Interesting how when you're in this view of the menu, when you view all, that it shows you the Rotten Tomatoes scores as well, critics and audience. Okay, so like I was saying, the search function is actually really intuitive. You can see here, enter the name of the title or person for which you would like to search. So it's not just the title, but say you want to look up Martin Scorsese films. Did I spell that right? Maybe? We'll find out. Ah, dang it. I don't think I did. Scorsese. Ah, there we go. Wow, see? And it's got Martin Scorsese as an actor. I bet you didn't know Martin Scorsese acted in all of these movies, did you? Or Martin Scorsese, director. And you've got them all in one convenient spot. Even Boardwalk Empire. That's a show, not a movie. And yet, it's still there. Let's do Tom Hanks. All the Toy Stories, of course. Yeah, once again, Tom Hanks actor, Tom Hanks director. Pretty cool, man. So in these instances where like you can't remember the name of the movie, but you know that a particular actor or actress is in it, you can just search for the actor or actress and be like, yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that's right. Tom Hanks was the guy in Elvis too, the ruthless guy who managed Elvis's career. So just wanted to show you that real quick. Pretty cool. Okay, another feature I wanted to quickly touch on was the fact that a lot of titles, most titles actually come out before they are available on VOD. Like the Smashing Machine, for example. You cannot get that on VOD right now. Black Phone 2, that just became available. Holy cow. The Long Walk. And there are even certain titles that become available even while movies are still in their theatrical run. So if you've got a bad case of FOMO and you want to see what everybody else has already seen in the theater, there is probably a good chance that it is already available or very soon will be available on Kaleidescape. So that's another perk with Kaleidescape. You get movies super early. Just wanted to give you that little tidbit. All right, so now I've covered all those bases. Now it's time to see what this bad boy can do with the Overkill system behind me. If you are new to my channel, that is a 9.4.6 system that consists of Aperion Audio Theatrical speakers, a couple of Aperion Audio Bravas 212D subwoofers, a Stark SW12 subwoofer, and an SVS SB4000 subwoofer. And 9.4.6 meaning 9 ear level speakers, 4 subwoofers, and 6 height speakers. And the whole system is controlled by a Marantz AV10 processor and powered by an Emotiva XPA amp for the front soundstage and Aperion Audio Energy amps powering all the other speakers. I'll be watching some of my go-to demo scenes of 4 films that I downloaded using the credits given to me by Kaleidescape for this review, so thank you for that.
2 hours later.
Okay, now that that is over, this part actually isn't going to take long because guess what? I could not see or hear any difference between the 4K disc and the Kaleidescape version. And that, my friends, is exactly the point. The racing scene in Ready Player One, the junkyard scene in Blade Runner 2049, the intro to Mad Max Fury Road, and the first battle scene in Edge of Tomorrow all looked fantastic and sounded identical. To be honest, I was really hoping I would spot a difference somewhere. But in the end, I just had to throw my hands up and say, "You fooled me, Kaleidescape." So needless to say, I am very impressed. A lot can be said about the benefits of something like a Kaleidescape system, which I will get into in a few minutes when I give my final thoughts on the subject. But another thing I want to touch on is that when you decide to purchase a movie through Kaleidescape, if for any reason there is an update to that title, you will get a notification and a choice if you want to upgrade it. For example, one of my all-time favorite movies is There Will Be Blood, which I own on a good old-fashioned DVD. To this day, I've never felt the urge to upgrade to Blu-ray, so I will await the inevitable release of it on 4K Blu-ray. But say if I got antsy and went ahead and bought it on Kaleidescape now. As you can see, it has not gotten the 4K treatment yet, because it is labeled as HD. But if I buy There Will Be Blood in HD, if and when it does become available in 4K UHD, I will then be given the chance to update it to a 4K version for a small fee. And honestly, it just depends on the title and the studio's decision on how much that upgrade will cost you. But I want to go over another hypothetical with you that's really cool. Say I already bought the 35th anniversary edition of Back to the Future in 4K. Just last month, they released a 40th anniversary edition that includes a bunch more special features, commentaries, and extras. So if I already had the 35th anniversary version on Kaleidescape, I would then be given the choice to download that extra content for free. No need to purchase it all over again since the actual movie is the same 4K transfer with Dolby Atmos that's on the 35th anniversary edition too. And I believe choosing to get the 40th anniversary edition would also update the thumbnail in your library to the most recent. Also pretty cool? I'll let you decide on that one. The reason I keep saying given the choice to update is because it's not automatic. When I asked my Kaleidescape contacts about that, they said they quickly learned that an automatic update is a big no-no, especially when it comes to the likes of rabid Star Wars fans, for example.
But I didn't want the latest version since they got rid of this and that, and now Greedo shoots first and not Han, and I just want the original version that hasn't been tampered with. Man.
You know who you are. So yes, they will allow you the chance to get the updated version, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. But for the most part, I imagine the majority of you, including myself, would no doubt get the best, most recent version of a title. Duh. So I just wanted to let you all know about that. In fact, I was also told that depending on the title and the studio behind it, sometimes going from the HD version to 4K is a free update. That doesn't happen too often, but it can, so that's cool. Some more housekeeping to go over that might interest you. I did indeed get a remote with my review unit. But just FYI, it doesn't normally come with a remote. That would be an added expense if you choose to go that route, just because you can also control the system with the remote feature in the app. But here's an example I ran into that warranted the need for a remote. The app only recognizes the Kaleidescape player when it's connected to the internet. Makes sense, right? So there was an instance when reviewing this unit where I downloaded the movies to the Strato E at my house since I don't have an Ethernet connection here at the office, remember? I brought it to the office, I got it hooked up to the system behind me, and lo and behold, I forgot the remote back at home. Stupid, right? Well, since I couldn't connect it to the internet, there was no way I could get the app to recognize it on this network. So in that instance, I needed the good old-fashioned remote before I could do anything. So if you like to travel a lot or you want to take something like this with you to an Airbnb, I would not bet that the Airbnb would have reliable access to the internet router or even an Ethernet connection at all. Just assume there isn't one just to be safe. So in those instances, it's always great to have a tried and true remote with you so you don't ruin movie night. Hey, Editor Elon here. I just got this email in today that the latest firmware update that is going to be happening later this month in November, the Kaleidescape media players will finally be able to support HDMI CEC. So yeah, that whole debacle I had not having the remote with me probably could have been prevented after this firmware update, because then I could have used the Sony remote and not have had to worry about having the actual Kaleidescape remote. I'm surprised that it didn't already have CEC commands supported, but hooray! It's going to be supported later this month in November 2025. Yay! Also, since something like the Strato M, E, or V have limited storage on them, how does it work with titles you've already watched? Is it the same when you rent something? Well, I asked this very question to my Kaleidescape contacts and they had this to say. A title will stay in your new collection indefinitely until you watch it through to the end credits. Or if you manually delete it, or move it to your played collection or favorites collection. If you watch it through to the end credits, it automatically drops into your played collection. Any title in the played collection for more than 48 hours is a candidate for deletion. If there is no more room on the player when you make a new purchase or queue an owned title to re-download, the title in your played collection that was watched longest ago, but at least 48 hours ago, will be rolled off the player. If there are no titles in played that have been there for more than 48 hours and the storage is full, new purchases or queued downloads will wait to download until space becomes available via the algorithms just mentioned. But if there are any titles that you don't want to roll off your player, add it to your favorites collection in that title's details page menu. Phew! Did you get all that? If you want a title to stay there no matter what, that one movie that you can watch over and over and never get tired of it, add it to your favorites collection and it will get the VIP treatment. Okay, lastly, let's break down some pros and cons of both owning physical media and going with a Kaleidescape. We'll start with physical media because I'm sure a lot of you watching this are collectors like me. And that's exactly it. You are building a collection, a tangible, visible collection that can be seen on shelves and touched and admired, even by you and fellow collectors. I do personally enjoy the artwork on some of these limited edition steelbooks especially, and I know some of you go gaga over the added extras like a booklet that includes behind-the-scenes photos from the set, essays written by esteemed authors about a movie, or even memorabilia like replicas of props or Funko Pop toys that come with a collector's edition. I totally get it. Also, the ritual of opening the case, pulling out the disc, popping it into a Blu-ray player, letting it load as you sit down and relax on your couch or in your theater chair, etc. Seeing the menu pop up, priming you for the experience of starting that movie to escape this world just for a couple of hours, right? And that's why I will never personally stop collecting certain beloved titles. It also sure is easier to lend a copy to someone else or take a Blu-ray to a friend's house to watch it there, or even pass your collection down to your kids. I mean, sure, you could pass down a Kaleidescape system to your offspring as well, but handing them a media player and a hard drive isn't exactly the same as boxes full of memories, you know? And in the end, you own those physical copies. At least as far as I can see into the future, there won't be a government that is going to barge into your home and take your Blu-rays away from you. Because even with Kaleidescape, you still don't exactly own the movies outright. It's kind of the same deal you get with streaming services like Netflix. In the end, you are paying Kaleidescape for access to a service. And I don't see this happening anytime soon, but what if Kaleidescape goes belly up? What if something happens and the company has to dissolve and all the titles you purchased are no longer accessible through the internet? Granted, if you happen to be able to afford a Terra server where you have successfully stored all the Kaleidescape titles you purchased over the years, then yes, you still can access them for years and years even if the company is no more. But with the likes of the newer Strato M, E, and V players having 480GB or 1TB SSDs inside, and a revolving door of titles downloaded and erased, if you never decided to invest in a Terra server, you're kinda screwed if the company is no more, especially since the Kaleidescape media players do not support any old hard drive, or NAS drive for that matter. Their proprietary Terra servers are the only servers that work with Kaleidescape media players. Just saying. One advantage of Kaleidescape versus a streaming platform like Netflix, though, is that it's a one-time fee for their hardware. You don't pay a monthly fee to continue to have access to the Kaleidescape library. And honestly, that's the same as owning a physical disc. You still gotta pay for the titles you want to own. But think about it. Over the span of having a Netflix account for however many years now, what is the grand total that you have paid so far? And not only that, of course, you will continue to pay that monthly fee to have access to Netflix. So even though this isn't cheap right off the bat, it could actually eventually be less expensive down the road. Just saying. So let's keep going with the pros of Kaleidescape, shall we? One of the biggest complaints about why most consumers got rid of their physical media collections was the clutter. Yeah, unless you have a dedicated room or space with shelves in your home or apartment, knowing where to put all those cases can be a hassle or even an eyesore to your partner. Most collectors I know or that I see browsing Instagram have dedicated spaces for that large collection. Not everyone has that luxury. So a Kaleidescape system removes that clutter while still giving you the reference audio and visual quality that you crave. And again, easy access to upgrade to a better version of a title you already own, either for a discounted fee or sometimes for free. I definitely can't say the same for all the versions of Lord of the Rings that I've collected over the years. I had to shell out more money for them, either waiting for a sale or paying full price, depending. And now they even have these 4K steelbooks that have incredible artwork on them, so those look enticing. Ugh, it's addicting, folks, I tell you. Also, discs can be subjected to scratching over the years, taking them in and out of the case over and over, or maybe a small child got to a disc and scratched the hell out of it. You can try to buff those scratches out all you want, but that might not get rid of them all. And let me tell you, being such a cinema and audio nerd, if at any point the presentation is interrupted by pauses, starts and stops, audio cutouts due to disc scratches, etc., oh man, I want to set the world on fire. It is such a big pet peeve of mine, but not the case when dealing with Kaleidescape. Also, as I mentioned before, it is more portable if you would like to pack it in your luggage on a trip. No need to pack a cumbersome Blu-ray player and movie cases when you could download a bunch of movies on your Kaleidescape beforehand, get to the Airbnb or hotel room, and enjoy movie night when everyone's getting settled in after a long day of tourism. So now you might be thinking, what about you, Elon? Well, honestly, as for me, I'm still on the fence, to be perfectly transparent. I will never stop collecting titles on physical media that I hold most precious to me. That's a fact. But there is a part of me that is very enticed by the convenience of it all without sacrificing any quality with Kaleidescape media players. Now, also keeping true to being transparent, I do not get to keep this Strato E outright. Kaleidescape has offered me a discount on it if I do decide I want to keep it after having done this review. But as I was thinking about it, I could potentially create a hybrid system with the Strato E. Because of the disc-to-digital program, I could potentially start buying Blu-ray copies of certain titles, since they will almost always be less than the 4K version. Then I could pop the Blu-ray version into the DVD burner, save it to my disc-to-digital database in my Kaleidescape account, and then upgrade it to the 4K version for a discount later on. So that way I have a physical copy to satisfy that urge, but also a 4K Kaleidescape version for convenience without having to pay full price for it. So yeah, maybe. I'm still processing it. But also, I now already have 4 of my favorite films in my Kaleidescape library, so I've technically already started my digital collection. Do I want those titles to go poof into the ether by not purchasing this Strato E in the end? Decisions. But putting my indecisiveness aside, who are the Kaleidescape Strato players for? They are for those who want a marriage between the convenience of streaming with the reference quality of 4K Blu-ray discs. They are for those that are tired of clutter, or for those who have partners who have had it up to here with the space that their discs are taking up. It's either me or the mother effing movie collection. You decide.
Well, how about a Kaleidescape system?
Wait, what's that? The rest is up to you. So there you have it, my friends. What are your thoughts on Kaleidescape systems? I know it can be pretty polarizing, so please be cordial in the comments. I know you all have it in you to put forth your opinions without being an asshole about it, so please do so. And with that, this world is crazy as it is already, so it only makes sense to be kind to everyone you come in contact with. Don't just watch TV and movies, experience them. Perhaps in full reference quality on a Kaleidescape system. But even with that being said, of course, I'm still going to end with physical media for life.